Here we
live.
go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. I hope I'll be manage this. There's a bee that's flying around me. Welcome, everybody. This is Your In Focus with Danny Ham. It's all about gratitude, attitude, and commitment. And Danny has a massive patch on his eye, and I still don't know why. He keeps saying he's had a fight with a shark. He was attacked, but yeah, I'd love to hear more about that if he's willing to share. Hello, Danny.
What is up, Carls?
I'm good.
How do
Look
you
at me.
how do you know it wasn't a shark attack? I mean, first of all, like you really can't know that for certain because we do. I
Well,
live in Florida. Like we do have sharks. It is the thing.
that's not where the shark would bite you, dude. You'd be missing a big chunk of meat somewhere else. Sharks are smart. They bite where there's meat.
True story. He definitely wouldn't bite my brain. There's not a lot up there, so he definitely would not aim for the head. That's true. That's true. So this thing says that all the opinions expressed on this call are mine and I own them. And if you have a problem with them, email Curls and she will absolutely sort you out for sure. Right, Curls?
Yes. Yes, just send
Thank you.
it to me.
Send it to Curls. She actually has things directed to go straight into her spam folder. So she actually won't even read it. It's amazing. All right. So let me get my gallery thing. You guys are gonna have to excuse me. It takes me a hot minute to see shit right now. Okay, so all right. So what happened to my eye? So Monday morning, bright and early. You know, part of my morning routine. I get up, I work out, and now I have this home gym that I have spent ever since quarantine setting up, making it exactly like I want it, right? And so I just added this new pull-up bar on Sunday, which was like the final piece to my masterpiece home gym. Okay. And so Monday morning, I wake up excited to go use it. And I took the workout bands, like the round strap things that you exercise with that have handles. And I hooked it to my pull-up bar to put my knees in so I could do assisted pull-ups. And apparently that's the wrong band for that exercise. And while I had it on fully stretched out, it slipped off my knee and hit me directly in the eyeball. So that happened. Yes. And so, but fortunately, I couldn't see at all out of it. It was full of blood, like the brown part had one brown eye, one red eye. And so I called a buddy who's an optometrist out of town. And I said, "Hey, can I finish my workout?" He said, "Well, send me a picture." And he says, "Absolutely not, Danny. Don't be an asshole." He says, "You need to go see a specialist and you got to do all this." So I go inside to see my girlfriend who's uh, who helps people put in pacemakers, like open heart surgery, right? Like she doesn't get grossed out. And she hasn't even had coffee yet. She's walking down the hallway. And I said, "Hey, I need you to look at my eye." And then she passed out in the kitchen. And yeah, so that was a thing. But fortunately, she took really good care of me. I'm super grateful for her and got me into an eye specialist up here because I don't have an eye doctor because normally I see great, when I have both eyes. And nobody's taking new patients. Nobody's seeing anybody. But they got me in, and then he got me into a retina specialist, and I've done all this stuff. So that's what happened to my eye. So what I have to do is absolutely nothing. I'm supposed to sit. I can't sneeze. I can't bend over. I have to sleep sitting up. I just have to basically do absolutely nothing. And he acted like I was going to be excited about that. I'm like, I can't even sit still for this conversation. So it's been an opportunity to practice some acceptance, right? And all of that wonderful stuff, and this happened Monday. And I'm like, should I tell Curls I can't really do the call because I can't read a whole lot, like I can read like messages that are like a sentence. But following anything like this is kind of difficult. And I said, well, no, because like the name of this is commitment, right? So it's my commitment to show up. And this is our call anyway. And everybody talks on our call. So this time, you guys are just going to do most of the talking. is how we're going to make this work, right? So is everybody cool with that? Can you help a brother out, right? my,
Put your
my
hands
hope
up
is
if you're okay with that. Put your hands up.
cool,
And
very cool.
I'll read anything you need me to read. I'll read it for you.
Well, okay, well, I just had like a couple of lines typed up. So I had a topic that I wanted to cover on the call, um, and I had started putting together some notes. And as you know, my process is I kind of put a few things here and there, and then a couple of days leading up to the call, I actually sit down and I type up how I want to do it and put it in Evernote and make my own little fancy thing. And that just is not happening right now. So what we're gonna do, let me see if I can move this around a little bit. But thank you guys for working with me. I appreciate it. And all right, here we go. So today, well, first off, did anybody make a gratitude list? You don't have to share anything on it, but that was one of the things we talked about last week. Did anybody make a gratitude list? I love it. I love it. How was that exercise? Digging it? Digging it? Cool. Big fan. I sit down and add it to mine, right after this happened, because I'm super grateful, like for my girlfriend. She absolutely took care of me. If she wasn't here, uh, it would have worked. It would have been a different scenario because I don't have the best judgment, in case you haven't noticed. Um, and it would have been different, and I'm super grateful that I didn't have to go to the hospital to deal with this, right? Because I'm not trying to catch the coronavirus because I hurt my eyeball. Like that would be some bullshit. Um, and I'm grateful that I didn't do any permanent damage. As long as I don't do anything stupid, like move, uh, it should be fine, right? So there's a lot to be grateful for, and I am grateful. And I'm grateful that we have the type of call here to where people participate, and we don't have to cancel it. We're still all able to get together, right? Because we're all kind of stuck in the house right now, so it's cool when we get to interact with each other. So today's call, the topic we're going to do, I want to talk about leadership. That was what I wanted to go over today, and in a specific way, and basically leadership from the perspective of us being leaders and the people that we interact with, right? Like it doesn't have to be the leader of a company or the leader of a group. It doesn't have to be anything, right? But we all set examples. Like a leader is just someone who sets an example. It doesn't mean you have to tell people what to do or anything like that. But people watch what you do. They don't really care what you say. And leadership is about action, right? So I got this little exercise I want to do. So everybody grab a piece of paper. This can be similar to what we did before. You're not going to have to show it up to the screen or anything. So grab a piece of paper and something to write with. It could be a Post-it note. You're only going to write one word, so it doesn't have to be much. So let me know when you got one. Yeah. All right. And obviously participation is always voluntary, but the stuff we do is pretty fun. So, okay. So here's what we're going to do. So everybody think for a minute and write down the name of a person who you care about and who you have not connected with in at least a month. It can be anybody in your life. It can be a friend, family member, somebody you used to work with. It doesn't matter. Just someone that you care about that you have not connected with in at least a month. So do that, please. Everybody got it? I can't say I have to look like this to see everybody. It's ridiculous, I know. All right. So now what we're going to do is everybody pick up your telephone. I know everybody has a telephone. It's 2020. And we're going to send that person a message because this is a call of action, right? Well done is always better than well said. You see people go, well, I thought about calling you. Yeah, but you didn't, right? And it could say anything. It doesn't matter. Ken is the person I'm going to message. He's someone who I love. I haven't talked to him in a couple months. He's been in my mind a little bit, but I haven't reached out. And I'm just going to send him a message that just says, just thought about you and wanted to send you some love. Hope all is well. You can say whatever you want to say, but just send that person a message. All right, mine's done. Hilton, what's up, man? Haven't seen you in a while, brother. It looks nice where you're at.
It's very sunny in the UK today.
Yeah. You guys should, if you're in the UK and it's sunny, you should all be outside because that shit never happens.
It's not true. It's not true what they say.
I've been there, dude. Actually, I've only been there once, but and it was cold and it was raining and it was wet.
Yeah, but you came like in winter. It's normal.
True story. True story. I had a fabulous time though. I really did. And the people were super nice. So I had no complaints. But the food had no salt, which I thought was weird. But it's just a different thing, right? All right. Everybody done? Did everybody send a message? That's what it's all about, man. See how simple. Charlie, you haven't done it yet?
No, but I'm committed to do it in about 2 hours. It's 6 a.m. here. I'm not going to wake my buddy up.
Respect. Well thought out.
But I'm
Appreciate
committed
you.
to do it. He's someone I need to contact. So thank you for that inspiration, Danny.
Yeah, man. I mean, like, how long did that really take to make a difference in somebody's day? You know what I mean? And that's the part about being a leader. You know, leaders take action. You know, a lot of people talk about doing stuff, leaders do stuff, you know? And not to say that the person that you message will reach out and message someone else, but I guarantee you at least one of them will, you know? And that's leadership by example. That's just doing something to help people pass it on, right? It's whenever you do something to help somebody else, and then that butterfly effect. You know, you change their day, and then they do something for somebody, and they do something for somebody. And when is that more important than like right now? You know, I was thinking the other day about, and this isn't a call about the coronavirus by any means, but just about how different this is. You know, because people talk about, well, I've made it through this, and I've made it through this, and I've made it through this, and to me, like this is pretty unique, at least in my lifetime, of what we're going through, um, in an area like this, right? But so you guys all know that that I'm in recovery, right? And you know, we had this reading that the fellowship I'm a part of, and it says in the beginning, you know, it doesn't matter about your, you know, age, race, creed, sexual identity, religion, or lack of religion. It doesn't matter. Addiction does not give a shit about any of that, right? Doesn't matter how much money you have, doesn't matter where you live. It's totally irrelevant. Okay. And this is like that. You know, I mean, this is a lot of things happen, and it happens to other people. You know, like if we see pictures of, well, let me put it on me. If I see pictures of people wearing masks, like in Asia, it doesn't shock me because I've seen that before, right? People get sick there, they wear masks. It's happened, right? But when I go to Home Depot and I see people walking around wearing masks and stuff like that, it's different. You know, that's not something that's happening over there, right? It's happening everywhere, and we're all affected by it. And it obviously sucks, but it also is obviously kind of good, because this is something that'll bring people together. Like when everybody who's alive right now will have this experience that is a common shared experience, right? Like, what it was like when big things happen, like here in the US, everybody knows where they were on 9/11, right? Or when they landed on the moon. Not me, I'm not quite that old, but old people know that shit, right? So when a big event happens, you can relate to it because you experienced it, and everybody experienced it through different eyes. Okay. And like, I think it's important for us to, like, this is an opportunity to grow together. Like, I don't want to come out on the other side of this being the same person that went into it. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot to learn here. And I think that we're blessed being part of a community that wants to grow. Like, we're not a bunch of complacent people. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here. So not only do we have an opportunity to grow as people, we're surrounded by a community of people who are doing the same thing. So I mean, I think that we have not only an opportunity, but we kind of have an obligation to come out of this better and to lead other people into doing the same. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people on here who have people in their life who kind of look to them for guidance or strength. Like, if you're not that person, you probably have that one person in your family. Like when bad things happen, people look at them or look at you to see how you handle it, right? Like I don't generally freak out, for example. It doesn't really matter what happens. The other day I wasn't freaking out, when this happened. If I'm ever freaking out, there's probably some bad shit going down, but we have an opportunity to lead people, right? And to react in a certain way to where if we don't lose our cool, they won't lose their cool, right? We would be that stability for them. And there's people who say inspiring things, and then there's inspiring people, right? Those are not the same thing, right? Somebody can read you off a bunch of Instagram quotes. It doesn't mean that they live that way, right? So I'm all about people who are actually inspiring people and helping other people to grow and be better, and leading by example. So that's what I want to kind of talk about today. So if you guys could help me, because I can't, reach it, what I'd like to do is just have you guys share either something that you've done or something that you personally know, like someone who has done something to be of service to other people right now, like in this time, like something that people are doing to help other people make it through this, right? Like I know Paul shared on one of the calls that he was delivering food, to elderly people, things like that, right? Stuff that's going on that you do or that you're aware of, that's making a difference and being of service to others instead of just sitting at home and living in fear, right? So who wants to go first? Or I can just go in this order of people on my screen, like this. Either way, Hilton, my man. Well, we got to unmute you. Oh, yeah,
Hi.
there you go.
Oh, it's gone now. Can you hear me okay? Can you hear
Good
me
to
now?
go.
Yeah, good. Okay. It's not me. It's a very close friend of mine. We've done quite a lot of work together over the past couple of years, and he drives a van and he's got a car as well, and he's volunteered to drop medicine for people who cannot get out and about. And what he's actually doing is he goes to the chemist, a local chemist in the morning, and they load everything inside his boot. So he's not in contact with anyone. And then he's got things on his phone where he travels around to people's houses around London and drop their medicine through the letterbox, which they obviously can't get out because they're classed as also on the vulnerable high list as well. So that's what he's actually doing. And he himself, I think the reason why it's part of his feelings, 2 years ago he had a heart attack. So himself, he's on the vulnerable high list as well. So he's got to concentrate on what he's consuming and the people around him as well. So I take my hat off to him.
That's huge, man. I appreciate you sharing that.
Okay, thank
I
you.
love it. And anyone who doesn't know, a boot is a trunk.
Okay.
I learned that in this community because I didn't know that.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Hilton. All right, who wants to share something next? Rachel.
Hi everyone, can you hear me?
Perfectly loud and
Cool.
clear.
Lovely.
Much better than I can see you, dear.
Oh, bless your heart. I really am sorry to hear of your accident, Danny. I hope you get better really soon.
It's cool.
Bless you. It's my best friend. She's a wonderful person, obviously. Otherwise, she wouldn't be my best friend. And she realised that that the food banks were getting depleted here because of the greater need with people losing their jobs and the financial difficulties people are going through. So she set up a WhatsApp group to collect food donations for the food bank. So once a week she takes everything that everyone's donated to the food bank, and I just thought that was such a wonderful thing to do. But she saw a need, and she made sure that she met it. And not only did she make sure she met it, she made sure that all her friends were involved in helping her meet it. So I thought that was lovely. And there's something I tried to do that I haven't been successful in. There's a service here that's being set up called Check In and Chat. And it's just basically you volunteer to phone people up who are in isolation, who are struggling, who have been referred by their GP or some kind of medical expert. And so I tried to volunteer for this, but you have to do it through an app that's for paramedics and doctors and nurses and ambulance drivers. And I got right to the end of this application process, and where it says, do you have basic first aid skills and blah blah blah, and I couldn't quite say yes because that wasn't what I was volunteering for. But hopefully they'll sort it out, and eventually I'll be able to phone someone and speak to someone and get myself set up on it. So that's the couple of things I wanted to share.
Love it. Thank you, Rachel.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. All righty, Mario.
Hello, everyone. I'd like to tell you about my wife. My wife is still in India, and normally she is planning coming back to Belgium. But because of this crisis, she can't coming, not yet. She can't coming back to Belgium, so she have to stay there. And maybe it's gonna take a few weeks, maybe a few months, and even I don't know if she's coming back this year. But I think there is a reason why she stayed there. Last year we buying a home in India, and we have a few children now in our home. And just before the lockdown, I asked my wife to buying stocks of food. We had some saving money, and we buying stocks of food to put in a home. Because a few days after that, in India is completely locked down. The shops are only open from 6 o'clock in the morning till 9 o'clock. And the rest of the day, everything is closed. So where we are living, the people, the neighbors around us, they're all workers, but they're living just by day. So if they can't go working, they have no income, they have no food. So because of the stocks we have now in our home, we can provide the neighbors. Every evening we making food and we providing food. My wife is doing this now. So this is thanks to God, really. It's thanks to God we did this. We provided, we have a stock of food and we can going on maybe 6 weeks. And yeah, I think there's a reason why my wife have to stay in India. To help the neighbors and to help the other people just around us. So this is what I like to share.
That's awesome, Mario. Thank you for sharing that, brother. I appreciate that. All right, he's going to share something next. Nasco, what's up, man?
Hey, Danny. So happy to be here and to see you guys all here. I actually looking at every one of you, and I'm happy to see all the smiles here, even though I know that everybody has something or has seen something that is not that pleasant, especially right now. But anyway, I mean, after the story of Mario, I think my story is not that heroic, but let me just add something here. In the last couple of days while working on my marketing campaigns, and of course the messaging now is completely different than what we used to have before, I try to shoot videos that are mostly inspirational and motivational for people around me. And because I still don't have a YouTube channel, I started publishing them on Vimeo, and from there just with a link to relatives, friends, business community. I'm mostly on LinkedIn. And those videos are not really selling anything or promoting anything. They're mostly about, you know, inspiring people to get to be strong, to remain calm, patient with each other. So these videos were inspired, by the way, from SFM mostly, from JJ, from you, Danny, from Patty, from Justin. So I'm trying to keep a short videos out of them and just push them in LinkedIn. And LinkedIn is normally a very business-oriented social media, but those videos, they get quite a lot of traction from very, serious people, and they just are so happy to kind of see those videos, which makes me very grateful and very happy for achieving that result. Because LinkedIn is very formal normally, kind of very, uncasual environment. And those videos are very much unorthodox compared to the other messages that you read over there. So this is what I wanted to share. I guess this is my contribution for the moment, just to share the wisdom that we get here from SFM outside of SFM in one shape or form.
Thank you, Nasco. I appreciate it, man. Yeah, and the magnitude of what we're doing is, and what makes it heroic is the fact that you're taking action and doing something. Right? Like no act of service is innocuous. It's just a matter of just doing something. I mean, how many people do you know that sit around on their couch talking about all they're going to do to change the world, and they don't do shit but watch Netflix all day, right? It's just about doing something, just doing one thing, All right, somebody else tell me a story. Charlie.
Hey everyone, and yeah, I was very impressed and touched by Mario's story, so thank you for sharing that, Mario. So two quick things, one for someone else, then one for myself. So we have a neighbor down the end of the block that created this really cute stand, and basically it's for people to leave an item or a product that they have excess of, and it's open to anyone to take a product or leave a product. And that's really a great gesture. I mean, there's even toilet paper there once in a while, and some canned goods and different people leave. I saw chocolate bars yesterday. I almost took one, not that I needed one, but I wanted one, but I didn't do that because someone else might need it. But anyway, I thought that was such a great gesture. They did it really nice. It's a nice stand. It's all colored and color coded and all kinds of stuff. So I thought that was great. And for me, right when this virus was starting, people were starting to get, quarantined or, stay at home and social distancing. We were about ready, my wife and I were about ready to kick off a married couples study that we do through our church. And so we said, oh, we can't do that. Kind of a bummer. We were all excited about it. And we said, no, that's crazy. So we started a Zoom meeting, and we've had 2 sessions, and it's been great. So anyway, that's what we did.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Charlie.
Yep.
Yeah, I think I told you guys last week we're doing our recovery meetings online, which was super weird at first, you know, because it's a different atmosphere. But we've had people logging on from all over the country to our little home group, from Merritt Island, Florida, and it's to giving people access to who might not have gone otherwise, right? Who might not show up, who might not put in the effort. So anything we can do like that, I mean, all we can do is make it available. We can't, you can't make people show up, but you can make it available and make that effort. And a lot of times people will, man, for sure. All right. Anybody else heard of anything cool going on to help other people? Agnes.
Yeah, hi everyone. I just, I don't know. I have it laying on my table. I got this little leaflet yesterday in my mailbox. It's from a platform in the neighborhood. It's called the Neighborhood Working Space, where people can gather together, to build stuff, to connect, to have a cup of coffee and stuff like that. But right now they did this in the mailbox of everyone to say like, hey, we want to help everyone who is in need, and if there is someone who wants to help us to help other people, then we can get all together to serve food, to help with problems, people who are not from the country and who need help with letters and post, mailbox kind of things, but also doing grocery shopping and all that kind of stuff, cooking for people. So people who are really needing some help, they reach out to them. And I think it's a great initiative. And they dropped it in the mailbox of the whole neighborhood to see if people want to connect, to help, or to need help. So I thought that's a great way to get connected and help everyone out who is in need.
Absolutely. I appreciate you sharing. Yeah, I mean, some people just don't have anyone, right? And just the fact of reaching out and connecting with people can make all the difference in the world, right? Like it's one of the biggest human needs is connection,
Yes.
just to other people. And right now it's tough, especially if people are home alone. The biggest complaint I hear over here about the lockdown, the number one complaint by like a mile, is people that have kids and having to teach them their school. They're out of their mind. They're out of their mind. You know what I mean? Because for one, kids do some like insane stuff at a really young age right now. And none of my friends know how to help them with their homework. But you know what, brother? They're all losing their mind. They're like, I can't breathe, man. I can't breathe. It's very entertaining for me to hear. Just saying.
But the thing is that I do volunteer at kids chat. So children from 10 to 16, they can get on the chat about their problems, and they have life questions, questions about all things, but also about depression and child abuse and stuff like that. And I see the flip side on the chat as well, that children who don't have a safe home, and normally school is a great way to escape home, and now they are stuck all day with parents who are drug addicted or alcohol addicted. They are abusive and stuff like that. So that's the flip side, It's really it's hard.
Yeah, it's tough. Here that's I went and volunteered at I guess you would call it a food bank, but it's called Feed Northeast Florida. And, they get donations from everywhere. Like they don't have a shortage of donation food wise normally. But one of the biggest things they put together is, kids in school. Like there's over 100,000 kids here in Jacksonville that don't have enough food at home. So they get their breakfast at school, their lunch at school, they send them home with dinner, and they send them home with food for the weekend, and there's no school, you know? And now we're not allowed to leave the house. Like you can't even go volunteer to help there. So I don't really know how to get by, but that's sad to me. You know, hungry people is sad to me, for sure. All right. Anybody else got anything that they would like to share? Curls, what are you doing to help people? Because you're just amazing in general, and I know that you have got something to talk about.
I'll tell you what happened yesterday. I started working, doing my usual work routine, and I'm staying here with my friend Bill, who's 74 years old and who's been diagnosed with cancer. He's got lymphoma cancer, which means his immune system is extremely weak. And I'm here to support him because he doesn't have a lot of family, and I believe the more you get loving people around you when you're sick, the more chances you have to heal. So yesterday the hospital called and they were like, we need you to come now at the hospital. We need to do some chemo on you. I'm not going to go through all the details because it's a long story, but he comes in the living room. He's like, I need to go to the hospital. And I'm like, oh my God. He calls his nephew and his nephew says bluntly no to drive him to the hospital because he's too scared of the virus. And he's quite a young guy. So and I don't drive. So I had to go in the car with him. He had to drive himself to the hospital. And I sat for over 4 hours in the car because I'm not allowed to go into the hospital, waiting for him because I didn't want him to drive back on his own to make sure that, you know, if we had to stop or anything. So I packed my laptop, I packed my phone, an apple, a bit of water, and we ran out of the house. And yeah, I entertained myself. You know, I did some work. I sang a little bit in the car for the ambulance people around. And, you know, it was 4 hours is a long time. And then we made it back safely to the house. So that was the help for yesterday. So yeah.
Love it.
But
I love it. I'm jealous. I wish I could sing. That's like one skill that I just wish I had that I don't. Like if I were to sing for people, they would club me. It would be bad.
It's like everything.
Cool.
It's like building a business, Danny. Everybody can learn how to sing. It's a muscle that needs practice as well. That's it.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. What I do have that I'm really excited to go show off is so Brandy asked me, you know, she's in the medical field, if I would wear a mask if she ordered me one from her nursing supply place. And I'm like, well, yeah, if I can pick it out. So I got this super cool mask with these little owls on it. I'm not really an owl guy, but I figured this was the only one that was like, you know, a big juvenile. And now I can't leave the house to go wear it. So it's just been sitting on my desk.
You can send it to me.
I mean, I do wear it sometimes in here just because, you know, all I have to do is sit. So it gets boring, but that's okay. What's up, Greg?
First off, well, the whole mask thing, my sister called me yesterday. She's a crafter and she's making masks for people. And she called me yesterday to see if I wanted one. And I said, yeah, if it's camouflaged. So, we'll see how that goes. But no, a couple of things. That was the one thing that my sister is making masks for people that want them. But the other thing is I've been working with a young man that's been here in the United States for 6 years. His wife is a citizen. They just had a baby who is officially a citizen. He is not, and he's scared to death. So I happened to be on the phone with a good friend of mine who's an attorney yesterday. And we're kind of trying to put things in motion to take that fear. I mean, besides the virus and the not knowing and not wanting to get sent away from his family, we're trying to start the ball in motion to see if we can't ease his fear right now. So that's it.
That's huge, man. That's a big fear. of people over here for sure. You know, hopefully our government has enough shit to deal with besides trying to throw people out who live here right now. But you know, that's another
Well,
story.
you know, he's like 21. He's been here since he's 15. Hard worker. He's been on the job site. We've actually helped him hone his skills a little bit, and he wants to be here. Just a happy person. And the baby just had heart surgery. So he, besides going through that and not wanting to get, you know, snatched up and sent away, it's a big deal. So hopefully I get some information today that we can kind of ease that pain for him.
That's awesome, man. I appreciate it. Have your sister make me a mask that looks like a long beard like you've got, man, because I don't have the patience to wait for it. That would be cool, man.
Actually, you know, if I ever shave this, which I do occasionally, I can just send it to you.
Look at that. I am feeling the love, Craig. Good looking out, brother. Thank you. I dig it. All right. Does anybody else got anything they want to share today? All right. Well, props to you guys for coming out and talking. I appreciate you. Appreciate you helping us make it through this one. But that's what we do on this call. If you haven't been here before, this is what we do. Everybody talks. This is our call for sure. Hopefully in 2 weeks, I'll be able to see. I should rephrase it. I will be able to see in 2 weeks. That's going to happen for sure. So we also at this call, we generally have an action item, which is something to do at the end, and a book of the week recommendation. I love that everybody shot a message to someone today. That's huge, you know. And just think about that. I mean, you can do that every day or every couple of days or whenever someone just pops in your head. It takes nothing to just send them a message, just sending you some love or just thinking about you or whatever. And you never know at what point in the day that's going to land on somebody. They might really need it, right? And it takes very little effort and you can have a big impact. So the action item for this week is to either write a letter, like a physical thing, like I know everybody owns a pen because I just saw you pull it out. So actually write like an old school grown person letter to someone and mail it to them. Don't tell them it's coming and just surprise them in the mail, right? Or color a picture. Cool, because I like the color. I'm a colorer. And send a kid or a grown up, whatever. I mean, I'm a grown up that colors, right? Don't judge me. Send them a color. So my girlfriend and I are going to color a picture for my nieces who colored us pictures and sent them to us. So I'm going to totally outcolor them and make it a competition. Just kidding. Kind of. And send them a colored picture that they will open up and that they will think is cool because they think it's cool when grown people color, right? So that's the action item. Just sit down and do it, man. Like, when's the last time you actually got a handwritten letter? And it doesn't take a whole lot of time to do. And it's much more personal than sending an email, right? The book of the week was going to be one of my new Seth Godin books, but I wasn't able to read it. And I can't recommend a book I haven't read. So I went through the library and I'm like, what would be applicable that I could recommend here? Because I try not to recommend really big books. Not that y'all can't read really big books. It's just that, you know, we do this every couple of weeks. So I'm sure everybody has heard of the Chicken Soup for the Soul books. Has everybody heard of these? Are old school, right? It started out with one, and I think now there's like 4,912 different versions. Like they have them super specific. Like I want to give my dad one. It's like chicken soup for the golfer's soul. I'm like, how is that different from like the truck driver's soul? But whatever, right? These books, man, they're everywhere. There's a million different ones, and they're super cool. And they have a bunch of small stories. If you haven't heard of this, if you have been living under a rock, which is cool because I don't know about a lot of things, so I live under a rock too. Get this: Chicken Soup for the Soul. and just read some of it, man. It's just something you can read, little pieces of, little stories, and they're just little things that make you feel good and give you a different perspective, and they can change your day. So that's my book of the week. Not any specific one, any of the 4,000. Just pick one and read it, and that would be cool. All right. Does anybody have anything they want to say or do before we wrap up and I get right back to sitting? No. Curls. Thank you.
I think you deserve a wrap up and go back to your immobility.
So what I'm going to do is, instead of sitting here, I'm going to go sit there, and then later I'm going to sit in there because, I'm going to mix it up a little bit. But I appreciate you guys coming and hanging out, man. It means a lot that y'all spend some time with us, every couple of weeks. And Curls, thank you for putting it all together, because we all know if it was up to me, we would never figure this out. So thank you very much. I really appreciate you guys. Hope you have an amazing day, and go set a good example and do something for somebody else, guys.
Thank you, Danny, for showing up despite
Always,
being
man.
Thank you.
Hey, man, I can't promise what happens when I get there, but I'll show up.
You do.
All right, bye, guys.
Thank you, everybody. We'll see you in 2 weeks' time. And get well, Danny. Sending you a lot of healing energy. Mwah.
I'll take it. Have a good day, guys. Later.